I've been feeling a little bit of pain on the bottom of my foot. I am really nervous about this. If it's too dangerous, they're going to cancel it. The goal was originally to run sub 2 hours, and now I'm just afraid I won't even be able to finish.
Loving is easy. You have me fucked up.
Hi, hello everyone. As you can tell by the title of this video, yes, I finally ran my very first half marathon. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about my training, my weeks leading up to the race itself, which was very, very eventful. It has been about 1 week since I ran the race, and there is a lot to get into. First of all, I know I have talked a bit about my running experience and my fitness background in a lot of my other videos, but I want to break it down a little bit more right now. In high school, I did track and field, all 4 years of high school. I was a sprinter though, so 400 meters was my main event, and I could not run any more than that. The longest runs we would ever do during a workout was 2 miles. Like 2 miles was our endurance training. Sprinting training is wildly different from long distance training, as I soon learned. So I will say, yes, even though I have running experience and training experience, I did not have any distance training. High school ended, I went to college. My main form of fitness was the gym, so I was really into weightlifting. I would run on the treadmill as a warm-up, but that'd be like 9 to 10 minutes on the treadmill. My sophomore year of college, right now I'm a junior, my sophomore year of college, I got into running again, but this time it was more semi-distance. I would go on runs pretty often, ranging from like 2 to 3 miles, and I ran 2 separate 5Ks, and that was really intense for me. Running that 5K for the first time was crazy. I was gassed afterwards, but quarantine hit. So I stopped, and then I never ran again. It was so sharp. I just quit completely and did not run for the rest of the summer and did not work out either. So I was in a very low mental state throughout the summer. Zero fitness, I lost so much of my strength and my stamina. But in September, when classes started up again, I wanted to get back into feeling like myself again. I am a very active person and I do love exercise, and I was really disappointed and upset with myself that I had just completely given up on myself for the entire summer. So I started running again. This time I was like, I'm gonna take it so easy, complete baby steps. I just want to run consistently and not hate running. So I started off running about 1 mile 2 to 3 times a week. I would go out on this 1 mile run. Sometimes I'd take a break in the middle, come back, and it was really hard in the beginning. I hadn't exercised for months by that point, and a mile really killed me. I would come back from these runs, it would take me 10 to more minutes to finish this 1 mile, and I'd come back dead, exhausted, drenched in sweat. I continued doing that, and then eventually 1 mile became 1.5 miles, became 2 miles. You get the gist of it. And I think it was in December that I actually posted my very first week of runs video. By that point, I had built up a pretty solid and healthy routine. When I say healthy, I mean mentally healthy. I was happy. I enjoyed going on these runs. I never felt obligated to do so. If I wasn't in the mood to go on a run, I wouldn't go on a run. And I had built up my distance to, I think in that video, I hit over 8 miles for the first time, which got me so freaking excited. So I was like, why wait for a 10K when I can go to the half marathon next? Also, a half marathon is crazy. A half marathon is 13.1 miles. I'm not even gonna think about it until I can reach 10 miles. If I can run a 10-mile run all at once, I will sign up for a half marathon. And lo and behold, December of last year, 2020, I finally ran 10 miles and I signed up for a half marathon. Hello, hi. So yesterday I ran 10 miles, and I said that I would sign up for a half marathon if I ever did that. So I'm staying true to my word, and I did it. I registered, I paid the fee. It is non-refundable. I'm doing this run on February 13th. That's 6 to 7 weeks. I'm kind of terrified. I can't believe I just did that. So When I signed up for my half marathon, I had 6 weeks until the race. By that point, I had been running 25 to 30 miles a week. After signing up, I was like, it's time to get serious about this. I want to actually train and, put in a good effort. I want to be prepared going into this, and I want to set an ambitious goal. So I bumped up my training volume to 35 to 40 miles a week. I'm not going to get really deep into my training plan, also because it isn't that complicated. Definitely check out my week of runs in New York City video, because I broke down how I structure my miles each week. But yeah, so for this half marathon, my original goal when I first signed up was mainly to just finish and feel good, like be able to run 13.1 miles nonstop, maybe around 9:45 to 10-minute per mile pace. It was really the distance that I thought was the challenge. As I got into my training, I was able to push up my long run distances to 11 to 12 miles. At this point, I was pretty confident that I could finish a half marathon. Let me set a little bit more of an ambitious goal. So I was like, why not, let's say like 9:30, 9:20 pace. Couple more weeks went by, I started being able to do these long runs, my 12-mile runs, at 9:20 pace. And I was like, okay, let's say sub 2 hours. So the 2-hour mark is around 9:09, 9:10 minute per mile pace. And that became my main goal, just being able to run under that. Let's talk about what happened 2 weeks before this race. My plan was to taper a little bit, so decrease my running volume, start letting my body recover and get ready for this race. But the snowstorm hit and I missed out on 2 days of training, which wasn't the worst thing ever. It made me a little bit nervous, but at the end of my second week, so when it was coming up on 1 week left, I had a pretty strong run. I did a 8-mile run and it felt solid. So going into my last week, I felt very confident and strong. I was going to take it easy, get in a light run each day, and then take the last day off. Tuesday, I get half a mile into my run, and my right foot does not feel good. This is Tuesday. I am literally running my half marathon this Saturday. Today, I have been feeling a little bit of pain on the bottom of my foot. When I went running, it was really hurting, and it really scared me. I don't want an injury. I immediately stopped and ran back, so I really only ran like less than a mile today. I am really nervous about this, but I'm not going to be stupid and try to train through it. The bottom of my foot, where your heel hits the ground, it was starting to ache, kind of like there was a little bit of this dull pain as I was running, and I had a feeling that this was like bad pain. So I immediately stopped. I'm not gonna run tomorrow, Wednesday. If I feel better on Thursday, solid. I'll take it super easy, rest again on Friday, and be good to go. Wednesday morning, I wake up. The pain is still there as I'm walking around the apartment, doing errands, that kind of stuff. Thursday, the pain is still there. I'm getting really nervous at this point because I'm taking 2 full days off and I'm about to run a half marathon in 2 more days. And on top of all of that stress, I received an email from the race organizers saying that it's possible they're going to delay the race, or it might even get canceled because of the snow and there was like ice building up. So I was getting really anxious. I was a mess that last week. Friday morning, I decided not to run either. So literally going into my race, I will not have run for the past 3 days. And that was making me so nervous. It is 9:46 on Friday night. Tomorrow morning, I'll be running my race. Originally, it was supposed to be at 9 a.m., but it's been pushed back to 10:30 because of ice and problematic conditions. I have just been really nervous periodically throughout this entire day. Ever since my foot started hurting on Tuesday, I haven't run Wednesday, Thursday, and today, Friday. And I know it's only 3 days, but I am just really nervous, and obviously I care a lot because I've been prepping so much for this race, and my goal was originally to run sub 2 hours, and now I'm just afraid I won't even be able to finish. I have been like icing my foot. I have stretched. I'm gonna go to sleep soon. So Friday night, I get the final confirmation email from the race organizers saying, first of all, that they're pushing back my start time from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and that they're going to do a final check of the course at 7 a.m. that day and then let us know if it's going to be canceled or not. So I go to sleep Friday night. I wake up at 6 a.m. on Saturday. Good morning. It is the day of my race. Super sorry if my hair looks absolutely disgusting. I purposely didn't wash it because usually when my hair is a bit greasy, it stays in place a bit better. This morning is just gonna be about mentally preparing myself. I'm gonna do some stretches right now and then go on like a shakeout run. So just a very, very light jog, see how I feel. I went on this jog, my foot felt fine. It didn't feel like perfect, like I could still feel a little bit of pain, but I felt a lot better. So I come back, I have my breakfast, which was peanut butter and bananas on toast. Wanted some good carbs, and I get ready to go. My first mistake was not leaving more time. Like, I thought I was gonna get there an extra 30 minutes early. I should have left more time because the subways were slightly delayed, and then by the time we were like rushing over there trying to find the location to meet, the nerves were kicking in all over again. We finally make it there, and the first thing I notice is I'm like one of the only girls and the only like young-ish person there. Like, I get there and it's like middle-aged men who definitely look like they've run a half marathon before, and I'm there with my pigtails, and me and my friend like both like ball of nerves, me just being like, oh my god, I'm here, I'm sorry I'm late, blah blah blah. And I get my bib and I pin it to my outfit. The way that the race works is it's at Riverside Park, and we would run up this long stretch and back, and that count as one loop. And the half marathon was 4 loops, and it was really cold. There was salt everywhere. So there were long stretches where I'd be running on salt, and it was so windy. Like, I had gloves and stuff, but my hands and toes were frozen. The bib that we would wear has a chip on it, and when you passed the starting line, the chip would be activated so you could get an electronic recording of your time. But basically, we line up. As we were waiting in the line, I was like, oh, okay, I think there's gonna be like a little bit of downtime. They're gonna like set things up. So I took out my phone to double check with my music and the app that they let you download where your friends and family can track you. But then all of a sudden they were like, we're starting. And I was like, oh my God. And so I'm like trying to like jam my phone back into my little running belt.
Go!
I had to like step out of the line because I was like fumbling so much. Either way, I get back in the line and we start running. The first lap was not bad. Like, yes, my hands and my feet were frozen solid, but it felt like I was starting up on any other long run. It was just extra cold, but the views were pretty. I finished my first loop, and a couple seconds into the second loop, my foot starts hurting a pretty strong amount.
Let's go! Let's go!
And I get nervous. It's not unbearable pain, like I'm still running, but it's hurting me. And it's hurting me to the extent where I know if I keep running, this is gonna become a pretty semi-serious injury. Like, I'm not gonna be able to run for a while. But I was like, I have been training for the past 3 months for this half marathon. I'm not stopping. And in retrospect, maybe that seems really dumb to some of you. Like, why would I keep running through an injury and risk hurting myself really bad? But in my mind, I didn't care if this meant I couldn't run for the next month. I was adamant about finishing this half marathon, and I was still running, and in my head, if I was still running, then I was gonna keep running.
Woo! Let's go!
As I get further into the second loop, the pain gets even worse. And at this point, I am thinking, I don't even know if I can finish this half marathon. Like, I'm not even half of the way in. I've probably run maybe 4.5 miles at this point, and the pain was pretty strong. I was basically limping while I was running. Like, I was like lopsidedly running. I probably looked crazy. I'm just trying to find the words to describe how I was feeling in that moment, just the complete despair and anger that I felt, because I had literally been running for the past 3 months. I had put so much on this race, was so excited for it, had been working so hard for it, and I was just so angry at the world that the week of my race, like the world just had to give me this injury. I was just devastated, and I will let you guys know that I genuinely am not a negative person. I am not a sad person. I very, very rarely cry. But on this race, like as I was running and the pain was becoming worse and worse, there were a couple sections where I would actually be hopping on one foot because I refused to stop, but the pain was so bad I couldn't put any weight on it. And I was just on the verge of tears. I was in that really dark spot for the majority of the second loop. But, you know, I make it past the halfway mark when I return from the second loop. And as I'm starting my third loop, I'm like, I've made it past the halfway mark at this point. Yes, I am in so much pain right now, but if I'm going to stop, it's going to be my body physically forcing me to stop, not my mind. I was determined to finish this race. I didn't give a crap about how long it took me, if I ended up having to like limp walk the rest. And I just gritted my teeth and kept running. I started to run on my toes, on my tippy toes. There was so much pain in my heel every single time I brought my weight down on my right heel. So I was running on my tippy toes. All of the like tension and pain was being put into my quad muscles. But then I, thought back to all of those intense like lunges and quad workouts that Caroline Gervan had me doing in the EPIC program. And I was like, my quads have been trained for this. As I'm finishing up my third loop, I'm like, I have one loop left. It's now or never. As much as my quads were screaming at me, I was still going. And if I got really tired of running on my tippy toes, I could kind of go back to running on my heels again for like a little bit until my foot started hurting again. So I went back to running on my toes. And that last stretch, when I was coming back from my last loop, I was just full of so much emotion, like fear that my foot would somehow act up again, force my body to shut down. I don't know if it was the adrenaline that numbed the pain for me, but the last stretch, I was flying. Like I could not feel any pain in my foot. I was running heel toe. I was like sprinting the last stretch.
Let's go!
But I finished. And I still can't believe it now. I ran my half marathon this morning. I didn't get the chance to like sit down and like talk about it afterwards because this day's been pretty hectic. Right after my half marathon, I went to grab lunch with friends, and then I got home and I had a work call and then other stuff to do. So I'm finally sitting down now. Essentially, it was really crazy. It was really painful. It did not go as planned, but it somehow turned out okay. Crazy, but yes, check back in with the full details later. It was very overwhelming, but now when I'm talking about it, I'm just in awe of myself for having finished that and persevered through that immense physical pain. But yeah, let's actually talk about if I hit any of my goals. When I went into my race that Saturday, I was just thinking, I just want to finish this. And then as I was running my race, I was just like, I don't even know if I can like physically finish. But I actually ran sub 2 hours, 1 hour and 55 minutes and 30 seconds, which is pretty insane. That's an average pace of 8:48. My ambitious goal was 9:09, 9:10. I don't know how I did that. I've had people say adrenaline, really carries you. I didn't think it would carry me that much. On top of running on salt through wind with my toes and hands frozen, with my right foot literally killing me. But I did it, and I'm shocked that I ran so fast, and I'm really happy about that.
My whole body hurts so bad, and I am exhausted.
I actually want to talk about some of the great things about this race. 2 of my friends came, my roommate and my other friend who's very close to me, and it just meant so much that they came and watched me from the beginning to the end. It helped so much to have the support of my friends there. And the thing that actually surprised me is when I was on my run, I would run by other people who were like in the park, and they would see all the people who were wearing these bibs. They'd cheer, they'd say like, "You look great, like keep going, you're almost there." And it helped so much. It really kept me going, kept me feeling positive, even when I was in the darkest place I could ever imagine. And the other people who were running this half marathon were also so sweet, so nice. We all just suffered together. And at the end, I found out that I was actually the first female finisher, and then 6th place overall. Full disclosure, there were not that many runners, probably like 16, 17 runners, and like 4 girls. I was actually the youngest person there. That's kind of crazy to me. Just over the moon about just even finishing and like having had that experience. And after my run, you can probably guess, I was so excited to eat all the junk food in the world. That was also Valentine's Day weekend, so me and my roommate, we did like a little Galentine's thing. We got dim sum, donuts. It was amazing. Let's talk about my foot. What I think had happened after doing a lot of research and having experienced this a little bit in the past. I'm gonna put up what it's called up here. It's used to describe the muscle at the bottom of your foot. It just got really inflamed and irritated. I am much better now. It's been a week of me straight up just like icing it every morning, stretching, doing lots and lots of stretching. I'm gonna continue giving it as much time as it needs. And my goals for the future are to run another half marathon. Like, I'm still butthurt that all of this crazy stuff had to happen. I am determined to run another half marathon sometime in the warmer weather. Thank you guys all so much for watching this. I hope it maybe inspired you to start running, or start running longer distances, or maybe sign up for a 5K, a 10K, half marathon, or a marathon if you want to be crazy like that. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated on my whole running journey. Cheers to many more runs in the future.
Loving is easy. You have me fucked up.